The kingdom faced despair as merchants, farmers, and villagers endured the economic crisis gripping their lives relentlessly. Streets once bustling with trade grew silent, burdened by the cries of families struggling to survive each passing day. Amid this turmoil, Buddha and his disciples walked calmly, observing the unfolding suffering with compassionate hearts. A young widow, frail and weary, stumbled toward them, clutching her child with desperate eyes seeking solace. She cried, "Master, my son hungers. I cannot feed him, and my soul aches with despair." Buddha extended his gaze toward her, his expression serene and imbued with profound empathy. "Child," he said, "your suffering weighs heavily on you. Yet you hold the strength to endure and transcend it." He offered his begging bowl to her, its contents meager yet capable of easing her burden. However, temporarily, the disciples watched silently, their hearts stirred by the simplicity and power of his act of compassion. As night fell, they gathered beneath a banyan tree, questions lingering within their minds and hearts alike. One disciple asked, "Master, how can we truly alleviate suffering when its roots seem so deeply entrenched in this world?" Buddha replied, "Suffering is like a great fire. It consumes all that it touches. Yet even fire may be extinguished." He continued, "Compassion is the water that quenches this fire. It flows freely from those who choose to open their hearts. It blooms in muddy waters but remains pure, untouched by the chaos surrounding it." The farmer nodded slowly, tears glistening as he began to grasp the beauty hidden within life's impermanent and unpredictable nature. Through his compassion, his heart was unburdened, and the community found strength in unity. The disciples reflected on his words, their thoughts heavy with the weight of their own understanding taking root. Buddha turned his gaze toward them and said, "Compassion is not bound by wealth or power. It thrives in even the poorest of hearts. When you see suffering, act not with pity, but with the love that seeks to heal and uplift." The following day, they journeyed into the heart of the kingdom, where despair hung heavily over every corner. A merchant sat amidst the remnants of his once thriving stall, his head in his hands, overwhelmed by loss. Buddha approached him and spoke gently, "Friend, your despair blinds you to the opportunities that still lie within your grasp. Rise, and let us face the day together. Do not fear impermanence," he said. "Find its wisdom." As the hours passed, the stall stood restored, a testament to the strength found in unity and kindness. That evening, beneath the stars, the disciples reflected on their experiences, sharing their newfound insights with one another. One said, "I realized today that compassion is not merely an emotion but an action that binds us together." Another added, "Through our unity, we transformed despair into hope, proving that even the smallest acts of kindness create ripples." Buddha listened to their words, his expression serene and filled with quiet pride in their growth. He said, "The seeds of compassion, when sown in fertile soil, grow into mighty trees that provide shade for all. Remember, my disciples, that every act of kindness is a seed, and every heart is soil awaiting cultivation." The disciples embraced his teachings, their commitment to compassion deepened by the day's experiences. In the days that followed, they continued their journey through the kingdom, spreading the light of compassion wherever they went. They offered comfort to the grieving, food to the hungry, and solace to the weary, embodying the principles their master had instilled within them. Ananda looked at the Bodhi tree and said, "Master, its roots anchor it, yet its branches sway freely. Can we live with such balance?" Buddha affirmed, "Balance is the essence of life." Ananda, the widow, the merchant, and countless others found solace and strength, their burdens lightened by the simple yet profound acts of kindness. One evening, as the disciples rested beneath the banyan tree, they asked the Buddha, "Master, How can we ensure that the compassion we have sown endures beyond our presence? Buddha replied, "The river flows not because it is commanded, but because it follows its nature to nourish the land. They guide us toward clarity and understanding." Buddha concluded, "Clarity arises from reflection. Let your compassion inspire, and it will take root in others, spreading like the branches of a great tree." The disciples nodded, their resolve strengthened by his wisdom, knowing that their journey was only beginning. As the kingdom continued its journey toward healing, the Buddha and his disciples departed, their presence leaving an indelible mark on the hearts they had touched. The seeds of compassion they had sown began to bloom, their roots intertwining with the lives they had forever changed. His voice was gentle, like a river flowing over smooth stones. "Loneliness is a shadow," he began. "It follows us when we forget the light of connection within and around us." The disciples leaned forward, their curiosity piqued, as the Buddha gestured toward a small bird building its nest in the tree above. "This bird," he said, "toils not for itself alone. It gathers twigs and leaves, knowing its nest will host future generations." He spoke softly, his words carrying the weight of truth. The river teaches us the wisdom of impermanence, flowing freely, reshaping the world, and embracing the essence of change. It binds, sustains, and heals. He shared the story of an old potter who once crafted his vessels not for profit but for neighbors and travelers alike. This merchant, bereft of wealth, nurtured his heart's wisdom and turned loss into resilience through understanding impermanence. Buddha said, "Under the shade of a great tree." Buddha gazed at his disciples, their silence laden with introspection. "Impermanence is not our adversary," he continued. "It is a guide, showing us the beauty and strength found in life's transience." Later, they came upon a farmer whose fields were swept away by the river's floods, leaving him grief-stricken and hopeless. Buddha approached the farmer, his presence calm and unyielding. "It blinds us to the treasures that reside within and around us." Priya, a young disciple, asked, "Master, how do we practice gratitude when emptiness engulfs our hearts and burdens our lives?" Buddha smiled softly and said, "Priya, gratitude begins with awareness. You are not alone," he said. "The strength of human connection surpasses distance, time, and sorrow." As the days passed, the disciples witnessed the farmer's resilience and the land's slow recovery, understanding impermanence as a cycle of loss and renewal. One evening, beneath the stars, a disciple shared, "Master, I see now that impermanence is not an end, but a doorway to growth and transformation." Buddha nodded, his expression calm yet warm. Life flows like the river, ever changing, and with each change comes the opportunity to discover strength and wisdom. In the kingdom, the people began rebuilding their lives, guided by the teachings of impermanence shared by the disciples. They embraced change not with fear, but with courage, crafting paths toward resilience with steady hands. The widow who had once suffered hunger now supported others, embodying the lessons of renewal. The merchant whose stall had been rebuilt helped neighbors revive their livelihoods. The disciples exchanged glances, their hearts unburdened, inspired to seek and nurture bonds that had perhaps been overlooked or forgotten. A child approached, bearing flowers for the Buddha, her innocent smile radiating the beauty of life's unspoken connections and gestures. He said, "Observe the meadow, reborn through impermanence, a testament to the beauty that follows every storm. Such is life's nature." He recounted another tale, this one of a prince who relinquished his throne upon realizing the fleeting nature of power. The prince discovered true peace not in ruling, but in embracing the transient essence of his own existence, Buddha said. The disciples reflected deeply, their hearts opening to the wisdom of impermanence as a universal truth. One spoke, "Master, I now see that impermanence is not a source of fear, but an invitation to live fully. Buddha said, to embrace impermanence is to free oneself from the shackles of attachment. Finding harmony in life's perpetual movement, the kingdom's people, guided by this wisdom, began gathering to share stories of resilience, each inspired by their own encounters with change. In these gatherings, bonds formed, uniting the community through shared strength and understanding. The disciples witnessed the kingdom's transformation, humbled by the profound impact of Buddha's teachings and their own journeys. Beneath the stars, they asked Buddha, Master, how can we sustain the wisdom of impermanence beyond our presence here? He replied, teach not through words alone but through your actions. Let impermanence guide your choices, inspiring others to embrace its beauty. Buddha continued, like the river, your wisdom must flow freely, nourishing all it touches and creating paths for renewal and growth. The disciples carried his teachings in their hearts, committed to planting seeds of wisdom wherever their journeys took them. As the kingdom healed, Buddha and his disciples prepared to depart, their presence forever etched in the hearts of its people, through the teachings of impermanence. The kingdom discovered resilience, transforming despair into hope and loss into renewal. In the wisdom of life's transience, they found unity, strength, and peace. Another day, another horizon as the kingdom flourished, its people embracing the teachings of compassion and impermanence in daily life. Prosperity returned, but the lingering memories of hardship shaped a community rooted in kindness and resilience. The disciples gathered on a mountain peak, their hearts filled with gratitude and questions about sustaining the wisdom they had learned. Buddha stood before them, his gaze calm and unwavering. As the rising sun illuminated the city below, he spoke. True illumination is found not in wealth or power but in a heart that shines through life's trials and triumphs. One disciple asked, Master, how can we ensure the light of compassion and wisdom endures beyond our presence in this kingdom? Buddha replied, a luminous heart inspires others not through sermons but through the seeds of kindness, understanding, and connection planted daily. He continued, consider the sun that rises each morning, illuminating not just the land, but every heart open to its warmth. As they descended the mountain, Buddha guided them to a village where elders shared stories of rebuilding and resilience. The villagers recounted moments of kindness, courage, and unity, each story embodying the enduring wisdom sown by the disciples and Buddha. Buddha listened intently, his expression serene yet radiant. As the villagers' tales resonated deeply with his teachings, he said, every story you share becomes a lantern, lighting the path for others, guiding them toward compassion and wisdom. The disciples reflected on their own journey, recalling acts of kindness they had witnessed, and the transformation they had seen. One disciple shared, Master, I witnessed a merchant offering shelter to travelers, a gesture that rippled through the community, inspiring others. Buddha smiled, his pride evident, and said, a luminous heart shines not for itself but to ignite light within others. Spreading across the world, they visited a widow, now helping orphaned children, her compassion and resilience serving as a beacon for all who knew her. Buddha approached her, his presence calming and warm, and said, your heart's light has turned despair into hope, illuminating paths for countless souls. The disciples understood that enduring wisdom was not a fixed entity but a living flame that thrived through collective action. Buddha led them to the city square, where gatherings of people exchanged stories of compassion and strength with one another. He said, true wisdom transcends individuality, flourishing within communities bound by love, understanding, and the shared desire to uplift one another. The disciples joined the gathering, sharing their experiences, each word planting a seed of hope and unity in the hearts of listeners. One evening, beneath the stars, Buddha and his disciples stood before the kingdom, reflecting on the transformation they had witnessed. A disciple said, "Master, the kingdom has healed not through riches but through the radiant light of its peoples' hearts." Buddha nodded and replied, "This light, born from suffering, now shines through resilience, proving the enduring power of compassion and wisdom in unity." He continued, "Share your light freely, for in its sharing, it multiplies, touching lives far beyond your reach." The disciples, inspired by his words, resolved to carry the wisdom of luminous hearts to all corners of their journey. As the days passed, they witnessed the kingdom growing stronger, its foundation built upon the seeds of love and understanding. The merchant whose stall was rebuilt continued to provide for his neighbors, embodying compassion in every action he took. The farmer, now thriving, taught others to embrace impermanence and find renewal through resilience and acceptance. The widow, with luminous strength, inspired her community to unite, nurturing orphaned children with love and care. Each soul became a star, shining brightly within the tapestry of lives woven together by shared kindness and strength. One disciple reflected, "Master, the kingdom's people are now teachers themselves, spreading your wisdom through their actions, ensuring its endurance for generations." Buddha replied, "When wisdom becomes part of the collective spirit, it transcends time, flourishing eternally through those it touches." He led them back to the mountain peak, overlooking the kingdom bathed in the golden light of the rising sun. He said, "This view reflects the heart of the kingdom, illuminated by compassion and wisdom, a beacon guiding future generations." Buddha prepared to depart, his disciples carrying the lessons of luminous hearts deeply ingrained within their own souls. As they left, the kingdom's people stood united, their collective strength illuminating the path toward a brighter future. Thus, the story continued, a testament to the enduring power of compassion, impermanence, and unity in transforming lives and hearts. Through the wisdom shared by Buddha and his disciples, the kingdom became a shining example of resilience and peace. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.